Before diving into this story, hit that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe, because here, every story is a new emotion you won't want to miss. The Dance of the Stars, Sofia walked slowly along the quiet lake shore. The gravel crunched softly beneath her feet, and the crisp May night air danced around her, tugging at the edges of her gray scarf. Her steps were careful, as if each one still carried the pain of a moment she wished she could erase. Almost a year had passed since everything changed to fall on stage. A dislocated knee and her dream of becoming a principal dancer slipping through her fingers like fine sand. She avoided mirrors these days, not because she didn't like what she saw, but because it hurt to see what she no longer was. Dance had once pulsed through every fiber of her body. Now it was a muffled echo inside her, a silence, as if her soul had been exiled to a place without music. That night, she needed silence, the kind only a starry sky could offer. She made her way to a wooden dock stretching out over the water, sat cross-legged, and looked up. The stars didn't seem to know her pain. They sparkled, indifferent and constant, as if to say, life keeps moving even when everything inside you has stopped. "You see Viga up there?" a voice asked behind her, pointing skyward. Sofia turned, surprised, but not alarmed. A young man stood there with dark eyes and a telescope slung over his shoulder. "No, but it's beautiful," she replied softly, pulling her scarf closer to her face. "It's one of the brightest in the sky. Sailors used to guide themselves by it in the middle of storms. Maybe we can too, if we learn how to look." Sofia smiled. She hadn't expected conversation that night, much less poetry. The stranger extended a hand without rushing. Rafael, amateur astronomer, an occasional intruder. Sofia, dancer, retired. And tonight, just a stargazer. Rafael sat beside her, unpacked his telescope, and began to adjust it. He spoke of stars with a quiet passion, the kind that lingered. He didn't use big words, but he gave each constellation a story like they were old friends. Sofia mostly listened, and for the first time in a long while, her thoughts weren't spinning through memories of surgery or auditions. "Do you still dance?" he asked, eyes still in the viewfinder. She hesitated. "No, not like I used to." Maybe it doesn't have to be like it used to be. That sentence stayed with her, like a piano note echoing in an empty ballroom. In the days that followed, Sofia returned to the dock again and again. Rafael was always there, sometimes with notebooks, sometimes with star maps. They talked about everything, old movies, silly fears, They talked about everything, old dreams. Slowly, Rafael revealed he was working on a project called The Dance of the Stars, an art installation that would blend science, light, and movement. He wanted to transform the orbits of planets and constellations into choreography, into visual poetry, but he was missing something, or rather, someone. "I need a dancer," he said one night, gazing upward. "One who understands what it means to fall and still want to rise." "That's why you showed up that night?" she asked. "Maybe it was luck, or maybe Viga led me to you." Sofia laughed, but deep down, the idea of dancing again terrified and thrilled her in equal measure. That's when Rafael said something that changed everything. "Pain never disappears completely, Sofia, but it can learn to dance with us. Fear only needs one step at a time." That night, back at home, she stood barefoot in front of the mirror. No spotlight, no costume, just herself, imperfect, but still hers. The rehearsals began, tentative and quiet. Slow movements, guided by soft piano music Rafael composed just for her. He projected the night sky across a white wall while she moved among the stars. There were no rules, no formal steps. Just a story told through motion, a story of falling, silence, and rebirth. Sofia stumbled. She cried. She wanted to quit, but she always came back, because every time she danced under the constellation lights, Something inside her reconnected, not to the past, but to something even more honest, herself. The night of the performance arrived. A makeshift open-air theater, garden chairs arranged in circles, lanterns glowing, and a perfect cloudless sky. Stars were everywhere, on the screen, in the music, in her breath. As Sofia moved, the audience held their breath. Each step, each gesture spoke louder than words. When she finally stopped, silence filled the space, not empty, but full. Full of awe. Full of something sacred. Rafael stood on the side, watching her like someone witnessing the impossible. Later, back on the dock, she sat again under the same sky. The stars still there, faithful as ever. Rafael sat beside her and offered his hand. She took it. "Thank you," she whispered, "for reminding me to look up. You just needed to remember the stars are inside you too." She smiled, eyes glistening more than any constellation. Dance had returned. And with it, love. Not the movie kind, perfect and glossy, but the real kind. The kind you build, step by step, where two people fall, rise, and learn how to move through the dark together. Because in the end, what guides us home isn't certainty. It's the light we dare to follow in the dark,